Pasha Paroh. Thank you for tuning. Pasha Paroh. Let's go. All right. So, what we got going on today for y'all? I did a thing. Yeah, I did a thing. I did a thing for a thing. You know what I mean? All right. So, look, right? Check it out. Pasha just entered a new level. Nah, seriously. What I did is I wrote my first white paper. I know. What is a white paper? So a white paper is, tell you exactly what it is. Per Investopedia, a white paper is an informal, or excuse me, an informational document issued by a company or not-for-profit organization to promote or highlight features of a solution, product, or service that it offers or plans to offer. So you know me, Pasha Paroh, critical solutions expert, had to talk about the new product, FireFort Eco, a multi-ink product. So let's get right down to it, because what you do know is Pasha Paroh has a vested interest in mental health and emotional intelligence, right? Everybody knows that about Pasha. So you know me, I'm always doing some research, and you know what happens when you research, you learn new things, right? Yeah, it's been this project here, it took me about, let's see, it's about 5:30 a.m. It took me about, with some distractions, some interruptions, I want to say 36 to 40 hours. No, probably started, yeah, about that. Probably about 36 hours. Right? So sit back, enjoy. Let's learn, right? Let's do this. Okay. All right, so what we got is FireFort Eco bioengineered defense fire-resistant foam. And what we're presenting today is a new approach to mitigate post-wildfire depression and enhance productivity. And it's going to be 100% biodegradable solution, sustainable solution. All my buzzwords are in this. That's why I'm enjoying it so much. All right, so let's get to it. All right. So right off the bat, we're going to go into the money, right? We're going to go into the money just briefly. Just going to dip the toes in the money, because that's what people really are interested in. But I'm going to tell you, it's really all centered around mental health. And at the end of the day, you're going to be pleasantly surprised that all of this is going to be solved by a fire-resistant foam. Let's go. So note, disclosure, the highlighted values are not precise and are for entertainment purposes only, meaning they're just supporting the conversation, as there is no exact measure, at least that I could muster in 36 hours on my budget. And so, yet it displays the potential value of the situation. So here's some itemized numbers for you as annual cost. Excuse me. Post wildfire depression and productivity loss be $80 billion. Post-traumatic stress disorder treatment for fire victims. The number I got is $232 billion, unconfirmed, plus or minus. Use it as an example. Post-traumatic stress disorder treatment for military personnel and veterans is 25, rounded up 26,000 annually per person. Same treatment for civilians, 18,640 per person, so rounded off to 19,000. The key number I want you to hear: labor market activity decline due to wildfire smoke, $70 billion. That's not even the fire or the damage. That's just the smoke caused activity to slow down. People stayed in the house. They didn't go anywhere. That cost $70 billion. Earnings reduction due to wildfire smoke, $125 billion. Go back to 2008, California wildfire. 2018 damages, $150 billion. So what I want to do is I want to just pretend for a moment that we know that there are additional expenses, right? We realize that. And let's say we had them all added up, right? All itemized for the whole year. So you can imagine the spreadsheet would be a lot more robust. So with what we have here, we're going to simulate and just use these handful of numbers, even though there would be a whole more of lines. You get the picture of what I'm doing here. All right. So if we use just this alone, we're looking at the annual cost. Like I said, this is just an example for entertainment purposes, but it gives you the realistic role play of the situation. And when I say example, I mean this number is in tune. It's probably well under what the reality is, but even this number in itself is cringeworthy, right? When you think about it. So just imagine it's going to be something probably far north of here, and then that makes everything else adjust, like what we're going to be able to save, the same. So the annual cost based on the examples given in the document is approximately $657 billion, and that would be a year. So please note the cost for individual post-traumatic stress disorder treatments are per person, and the total would depend on the number of people affected. All right. I think I should be good. Get through this. So, based on the unrealistic assumption that the percentage of population equipped with FireFort Eco directly correlates with the percentage of wildfires prevented, if 20% of the population was equipped with and used FireFort Eco to prevent these fires from spreading and lasting as long, the potential savings could be approximately $131 billion in change. So basically, if we found a way by deploying our product, which is actually designed to resist the fire, so it prevents it from spreading, not wait for it to get there and try to extinguish it. If we could just deploy the application to offset 20%, then we're talking a total probably at least $132 billion annually. And all I need is a $5 million investment, right? That's the purpose. So we're going to learn how and why a $5 million investment in FireFort Eco could save Americans $132 billion annually or more, and even more globally, and not to mention your mental health. Let's get to it. Some table of contents with some key points for you to flip through quickly and find. If you want to see this yourself, feel free to go to my LinkedIn page. This is on my LinkedIn page. I just posted it a little while ago. It's currently about 5:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for all the politicians on the West Coast and organizations and agencies on the West Coast that haven't got up yet, or if you're like me, you haven't gone to sleep yet, then let's go over this. If not, then feel free to find it on my LinkedIn page if you want to slow down the video or just take it page by page on LinkedIn. All right, here we go. So the introduction is, in the wake of the devastating wildfires, recent studies have unveiled a concerning rise in depression. See, this is okay. A concerning rise in depression rates among affected individuals. They found that the rates of post-traumatic stress disorder ranged between 29% and 60% at 3 months, 12.8% to 26% at 6 months, and 7.6% to 15.6% in the 3 to 10 years following the traumatic trauma of wildfires. So high rates of depression were also reported following the fires, with percentages ranging from 25.5% to 33% at 3 months, 10.4% and 17.1% at 6 months, and approximately 10% at the 10 years following the disaster. So even 10 years later, they still got 10% of the people showing symptoms of the high depression, right? So this is alarming mental health crisis. Not only jeopardizes the well-being of individuals, but also carries significant financial implications for the nation. The estimated cost of reduced productivity and increased healthcare expenses exceeds $80 billion annually. When they're talking about post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. So we see the solution as our revolutionary fire-resistant foam, presenting a compelling solution to this pressing issue. By dramatically reducing the destruction caused by wildfires, a 100% biodegradable fire-resistant foam has the potential to curb these distressing depression rates in the most eco-friendly way. Less destruction means fewer people displaced, fewer lives disrupted, and a quicker return to normalcy, if there's any such thing, for the affected communities. From a financial standpoint, investing in the resolve represents a proactive step towards saving billions in productivity losses by preventing the widespread devastation caused by wildfires. We can ensure the health, engagement, and productivity of our workforce this way. We encourage the use of an agent that aligns seamlessly with sustainable practices, contributing to a healthier environment and mitigating the long-term impacts of climate change, which they say is a crucial factor in the increasing frequency and intensity of wildfires. We extend a heartfelt invitation to government officials and stakeholders to join us in our mission to protect our communities, galvanize our economy, and safeguard our planet. Together, we can make a profound difference in preventing the devastating effects of wildfires. So the target stakeholders are going to be government officials. We're going to call that group 1. This group includes local government officials, state emergency management agencies, federal emergency management, FEMA, fire chiefs, captains, state governments, state fire marshals, U.S. Department of Agriculture, Forest Services, and the U.S. Department of the Interior. Their primary concerns revolve around safety, disaster preparedness, cost effectiveness, and community resilience. As orchestrators of disaster responses, they hold the responsibility for protecting and maintaining local infrastructure. And hey, we got what you need. Group number 2, firefighting and land management entities. County fire departments and National Park Services and the Bureau of Land Management comprise this group. As first responders to wildfires and custodians of public lands, their focus lies in effective fire prevention and control, as well as preserving natural resources, which is why FireFort Eco is great, because it actually is 100% biodegradable. So exactly what you should be using. But let's continue. Environmental entities, group 3, the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, and nonprofit organizations fall into this category. By the way, if you know anybody that's in any of these organizations, send them this video. All right, share this video, get the community talking about this video, because wait till we get to the page about 1 and 6, you might be surprised. So the EPA and the nonprofit organizations fall into this category, driven by promoting environmentally friendly solutions and conservation efforts. They possess the ability to raise awareness about the benefits of our product. So we're gonna need you to get talking, send us some emails. Okay, thank you. How homeowners and insurance entities is group 4. This group encompasses homeowners, homeowner associations, boards, and insurance companies. Their interests lie in protecting homes and communities from wildfires, reducing wildfire damage, and minimizing claims. They prioritize the effectiveness of ease of use and potential property value increase that our solution brings. Number 5 group, the 5th element, construction and real estate entities. So construction companies and real estate developers / agents make up this group. Their interest is going to revolve around utilizing and promoting the product in wildfire prone areas, with a focus on its potential to increase property values and attract environmentally conscious buyers. Now, keep in mind, you can even use it in urban areas, because hey, if that side of the building start burning, I mean, spray this side down, save something, right? But at the same time, this is good for you, because with, you know, like the vegan craze, you get a little benefit if you got the vegan from your customers. So it's like that. Like if you have the environmentally association, which what you're doing, it's going to give you that leverage with those potential buyers that you may not have had before. So take a look at this. Take this all in real quick. The impact of forest fires on mental health. Let's get to it. Pasha, Paroh, FireFort Eco. The impact of forest fires on mental health. Forest fires can have significant impacts on mental health, affecting both individuals directly affected by the fires and those indirectly impacted by the environmental and socioeconomic consequences. Dun, 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 dun. The destruction and the loss of homes, belongings, and surroundings and surrounding communities, as well as the threat to personal safety and the safety of loved ones, can have lasting consequences on survivors' mental health. The socioeconomic effects of forest fires include the forest fires also have money affected, right? So that can further impact mental health. The loss of assets, houses, crops for small scale farmers with limited resources can exacerbate their already tenuous food and economic security, potentially pushing them back into poverty, right? Because they only had a little bit to begin with, and now it all went up in smoke. What they gonna do? Who they gonna turn to? So the destruction of the forests and woodlands can also impact rural communities that rely on these resources for their livelihoods. Don't forget the firefighters, though. So the mental health of the wildland firefighters is important too. It's important to note that mental health impacts the forest fire, mental health impacts of forest fires extend beyond the affected communities. Wildland firefighters who vigilantly manage and contain the forest fires face immense physical, mental, and emotional strain. The poor working conditions and the potential witnessing of human tragedy can have a significant impact on their mental health. So big ups to them, and don't forget them. In a comprehensive review of 63 studies that examine the impact of wildfires on mental health, basically found that the rates of post-traumatic stress disorder range between 29% to 60% the first 3 months, 12% to 26% the 6 months, and 15 to 7% 3 to 10 months after that, which we kind of covered that part before. But what I want to get to here is the second part of this section, where it says, similarly, the anxiety also reported following the fires was 17.4%, and all those numbers too. We got up to 10 years. But here's where it gets new information for you. Symptoms of insomnia and nightmares were also found to be some of the most prevalent mental health conditions reported by survivors following the trauma of wildfires. For example, the incidence of insomnia was found to range between 28.5 and 77.9%, and the incidence of nightmares ranged between 33.3 and 49.2 following the disaster, per the National Library of Medicine. So Americans tend to show significantly more severe symptoms, right? So the study conducted in the field of wildfires and the impact they have on people's mental health have been consistent in demonstrating elevated rates of multiple mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety, sleep difficulties, and PTSD in the aftermath of wildfires. In comparing the three countries' anxiety symptoms, significant differences among Australia, Canada, and the USA were found. Approximately 50% of participants from the USA reported significantly more severe anxiety symptoms than participants from Australia and Canada. Similarly, a higher percentage of participants from the USA reported significantly more symptoms of insomnia, depression, and trauma symptoms than their counterparts in Australia and Canada. So why America? Well, I'm gonna tell you why. It's all I had. I didn't feel like no coffee, so I got a Monster. All right. I asked myself, why America? The answer I found, as the Washington Post explained, is that 1 in 6 Americans live within significant wildfire risk. I got the map for you on the next page. Example that the article begins like this. When a wildfire tore through drought-stricken towns near Boulder, Colorado late last year, it reminded Americans that fire risk is changing. It didn't matter that it was winter. It didn't matter that many of the more than 1,000 homes and other structures lost sat in suburban subdivisions, not forested enclaves, the old rules no longer applied. Washington Post, May 17, 2022. The old rules don't apply anymore. So that means you're going to need more FireFort Eco in stores. So the article continued to note that nearly 80 million properties in the United States stand a significant chance of exposure to fire. 80 million properties. According to a model built by the nonprofit First Street Foundation, and monetarily, wildfires can cause significant property loss. For example, in 2015, the Valley and Butte or however you want to say it, BUTTE wildfires in California resulted in an estimated property loss of $1.95 billion. That was just the property loss. And in 2016, the Gatlinburg, Tennessee wildfires caused an estimated property loss of $911 million, so almost another billion. A Washington Post analyst of the group's analysis, of the group's data found that an estimated 16% of the country's population today lives in hazardous areas. And over the next 30 years, that share will increase to 21%. Nearly half of all Americans who live, check this out, nearly half of all Americans who live in areas vulnerable to fire will reside in the South, and minorities face a disproportionate risk. Here's the map. Where you live at, put it in the comments below, and put the percentage of the risk up here that you live in. Maybe we'll get some views and we'll get some answers here. So 1 in 6 Americans live in areas with significant wildfire risk. This means aside from all the other sources of depression and post-traumatic stress disorder that we got in life, 1 in 6 could get an additional experience of depression and post-traumatic stress due to fire. That is 1 in 6 quality of life up in smoke, and 1 in 6 productivity in the economy that could be affected for up to 10 years or more at any given moment. Make sense now? Why America? 1 in 6. Look at the map. So where can you go to heal from trauma when there's no place safe for recovery? A study conducted by University of Nevada, Las Vegas, found that the average recovery time for desert ecosystems after a wildfire can be up to 65 years. Factors such as climate shifts and invasive plants can complicate the recovery process, of course. It's important to note that recovery times can vary greatly depending on the specific ecosystem and the extent of the damage caused by the wildfire. Some ecosystems may start recovering as soon as the fire is gone, with plants growing back from the root and new seedlings being released. However, for ecosystems with severe damage, it can take many decades for trees to fully recover. Overall, the average recovery time after a wildfire can range from a few years to several decades, depending on the severity of the fire and the ecosystem affected. Here's where I think the National Library of Medicine missed the mark. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's get the discussion popping. The report was titled Differences in Anxiety, Insomnia, and Trauma Symptoms in Wildfire Survivors from Australia, Canada, and the United States of America. They stated overall participants from the USA reported significantly more, this going back to that quote from earlier, overall participants from the USA reported significantly more severe symptoms of anxiety, insomnia, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder from participants from both Canada and Australia. In explaining the findings of the current study, two hypotheses may be considered. This is their quote. First, the number and magnitude of disastrous events that have occurred in the USA in the last 2 decades in comparison to Canada and Australia. And second, the disparities between the 3 countries in terms of availability of resources for survivors, preferences for self-help, differences in land management and cultural practices, and preparedness levels for wildfires. Now, what we know about Four Corners rule, I've won 3 of my own court cases, is we realize that there's an ambiguity factor. Now, some crybaby somewhere might come out and say, no, we said land management. Because they didn't define what land management was to them, which could technically mean that they zoned these places to put houses next to things that would burn up called trees. Possibly. But even still, the problem there, if that's their argument, is why do you have 27 things listed if you were going to make the argument that when you said land management, you meant where you put the houses? Because that would exclude the need to put the other 26 things. So having the other 26 things kind of shows that you weren't focused on the one thing that really made the difference. I'm going to show you what that is. So it wouldn't have been a first and a second. It would have been, you would have described the issue as land management. And here's why. All right. So according to a study of wildfire risk assessment, because I had to go look before I, to make sure to see what these numbers are. Approximately 283,200 people reside in areas of high risk, while 30,500 live in areas classified as very high risk. And it's worth noting that indigenous on reserve communities are particularly vulnerable to wildfire impact, with an estimated 18.9% of their people living in indigenous reserves are residing in areas at higher risk of fire, compared to only 2.4% of the non-reserve population. Land management. So while this study provides specific figures for certain areas, it does not provide an overall percentage of people living in areas with significant wildfire risk across Canada. However, it highlights the importance of identifying areas at higher fire risk in order to mitigate the impacts of wildfires on society. All right, back to it. Based on the available search results, because somebody give me the budget, we can start having the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, provide us with some intelligence. I just need to be able to write it. I need someone to write the check. I don't know if I want to write it. But based on the available search results, it is challenging to find an exact percentage of people living in the areas with significant wildfire risk in Australia. The search results primarily provide information about the impact of wildfires and the increase in fire activity and the environmental consequences of bushfires in Australia. However, there is no specific statistic or percentage mentioned regarding the population living in areas with significant wildfire risk. And I think that's probably because of Crocodile Dundee, told us best about that's not a knife. This is a knife, mate. And, he pulls out the half sword, and that's what we all want now. We want a real knife. So they're probably over there like, that's not a wildfire, this is a wildfire. So they're cool, they're collective, they're calm, they done been through it all. They're mosquitoes are as big as our forearms. So I don't know. I've never been, but let's go. Let's keep it going. Shout out to Australia. Given the information found, it seems that a higher proportion of Americans live in areas with significant wildfire risk compared to Canadians and Australians. This could be the contributing factor to the higher rates of severe mental health symptoms reported in the US following wildfires. Not the severity, but the proximity. See, because they having a boom, they blowing up trees in Canada and Australia, they burning them up out there too. It's major. They just don't live across the street from it. Which means we need to move or we need protection. And that's where we come in. Now, what's at risk besides our mental health? If that wasn't like already enough. The cost and duration of depression and post-traumatic stress disorder treatment post-fire. Depression and PTSD treatments costs and durations post-fire vary based on several factors, including symptoms, severity, treatment response, and the type of treatments used. Treatments typically involve a combination of psychotherapy, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and in some cases, medications like SSRIs, if you know what they are. The duration of treatment is largely dependent on the individual's response and the severity of their symptoms. Some individuals may require only a few months of treatment, while others may need longer period. It's important to note that if post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms are left untreated, they can persist for years. As for the costs, they can vary widely depending upon the type of treatment, the healthcare provider, and the individual's insurance coverage. While exact costs of post-fire treatment are not known, it's clear that the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder is generally expensive. In fact, the total annual costs for fire victims in the US are substantial, reaching into the hundreds of billions of dollars. This figure underscores the significant economic impact of fires beyond the immediate damage and destruction they cause. Based on the available data, the estimated annual cost of post-traumatic stress disorder in the United States alone is approximately $232 billion. And this figure includes both direct healthcare expenses and indirect costs associated with post-traumatic stress disorder. How much of that is fire-related, if not all? The cost of post-traumatic stress disorder treatment can vary depending upon the population being considered. For military personnel and veterans, the annual cost of post-traumatic stress disorder per person is estimated to be $25,000 and change, while for civilians, it's closer to $19,000. The majority of costs for military personnel and veterans are related to direct health care and disability payments, whereas for civilians, most costs are related to direct health care and unemployment. Interestingly, civilians account for more than 3 times the total post-traumatic stress disorder costs, but the annual cost per civilian with post-traumatic stress disorder are lower compared to the military population. In the civilian population, the economic burden is primarily driven by the direct health care and unemployment costs, where disability payments contribute significantly to the cost for military personnel and veterans. The high economic burden of post-traumatic stress disorder underscores the need for public and private stakeholders to work together to discover new and better treatments, reduce stigma, improve access to existing treatments, and expand evidence-based recovery and rehabilitation programs. Or we can get FireFort Eco and just prevent the fire from spreading. Average productivity loss due to wildfires. So let's get into productivity now. Like we done talked about the mental pain, the mental health issues. We've seen the fire damage property. It looks like the screen when it gets done, house was there maybe, a school was there maybe, you know what I mean? Wildfires can have a significant economic impact, including productivity loss. According to a 2020 working paper, I got to look up what's the difference between a working paper and a white paper. See, I'm in this new thing now. I don't even know what I'm doing. All right. Wildfire smoke in the United States led to annual declines in labor market activity worth $70 billion on average between 2006 and 2015. Another study found that wildfire smoke reduced earnings by nearly 2% of U.S. annual labor income. That's $125 billion in 2018, a single year, right? Per year on average. And what I found ironic was that was just smoke, like the picture there. That was just like, oh, babe, we're not going to Walmart. It's smoky outside. I ain't trying to breathe that in. You know what I'm saying? Even though they probably smoke cigarettes and but the wildfire smoke said, no, you're not going outside today. No Walmart for you. The economic consequences of wildfires extended beyond direct damage. In 2018, the wildfires in California caused approximately $150 billion in damages, with about 60% of the losses being indirect economic losses due to the disruption of economic activity. No soup today. These disruptions can have a cascading effect on regional and national supply chains, leading to broader economic disruption. So even though you're on the East Coast, your oranges didn't get delivered or whatever because the fire in the West Coast is preventing them from getting to you. So everybody has a mutual vested interest to support FireFort Eco to help make sure supply chains keep delivering on time. It's clear that post-traumatic stress disorder and depression in post-wildfire victims could lead to significant productivity losses. However, without specific data on averages and productivity loss per individual and the total number of individuals affected, it's difficult to provide a precise estimate of the total productivity loss for the national economy. So I need some of those people that know the senators and know the people who talk to the CIA people or the people at whatever agency to, go ahead and get them a coffee and tell them Pasha Paroh got this white paper and he needs some quotes from y'all. I need some quotes from the state treasurers. I need some quotes from these agency leaders. I'm looking at this as a living document. This is revision 1. Come get you some. So by addressing the concerns and priorities of each stakeholder group, we can create a united front in combating the devastation caused by wildfires. Together, we can protect our communities, strengthen our economy, and ensure a sustainable future for generations to come, right? So let's go back and look at those government officials, right, that we talked about in group 1. So government official agencies are, like we said, responsible for the safety and may have concerns to be addressed as disaster preparedness, cost effectiveness, community resilience, as well as the protection and maintenance of local infrastructure. So safety and disaster preparedness, the right product shall significantly reduce the destruction caused by wildfires, making it an invaluable tool in enhancing safety and disaster preparedness efforts. By minimizing the spread and intensity of wildfires, it will help to protect lives, homes, and critical infrastructures like yours. Government officials and agencies need to rely on the product to mitigate the devastating impacts of wildfires, ensuring a safer environment for communities and reducing the need for emergency response and recovery efforts. Cost effectiveness is covered by the financial implications of wildfires combined with the billions of dollars lost due to reduced productivity and increased healthcare costs. By investing in the product, government officials and agencies can proactively address these financial concerns. The use of the product should prevent widespread destruction, minimizing economic burden on communities and reducing the need for costly recovery efforts. Community resilience and infrastructure protection? Check. The product needs to play a crucial role in enhancing community resilience by reducing the impact of wildfires. It helps communities recover more quickly and maintain their social fabric. This is vital for the well-being and long-term stability of the affected areas. Additionally, the product is to help protect and maintain local infrastructure such as roads, bridges, power lines, and communication networks. By minimizing damage to critical infrastructure, additional support is provided to the continuity of essential services and facilities and a faster recovery process. Excuse me. The fire group 2, let's take a look at group 2. So they got some issues they're concerned about. One, effective fire prevention and control. The solution needs to be a powerful tool for fire prevention and control. As we know, a fire-resistant foam whose properties significantly reduce the spread and intensity of wildfires, making it easier for firefighting entities to contain and extinguish fires, is our recommendation. By using the product, firefighting and land management entities can enhance their ability to protect lives, homes, and natural landscapes. The foam's effectiveness in suppressing fires helps minimize the damage caused by wildfires and reduce the risk to both human and ecological communities. I got a Bell's palsy scar still. It twitches every now and then. So, preserving natural resources. The solution should align with the goal of preserving natural resources. By reducing the destruction caused by wildfires, it helps protect wildlife habitats, recreational areas, and other valuable natural landscapes. The foam's ability to minimize the impact of wildfires on public lands allow firefighting and land management entities to fulfill their responsibility of safeguarding these resources for future generations. Let's look at group 3. They got a couple things going on here. So number one, they want environmental protection and conservation. So you already know the right solution contributes to environmental protection by significantly reducing the destruction caused by wildfires. By minimizing the spread and intensity of the fires, it helps preserve natural habitats, wildlife, and ecosystems. The use of such a product will align with the goals and environmental entities to conserve and protect natural resources. By preventing the widespread devastation caused by wildfires, it helps maintain the integrity of forests, water sources, and other valuable ecosystems. Promotion of sustainable practices. So such a product promotes sustainable practices by mitigating the environmental impact of wildfires. By reducing the need for extensive fire suppression efforts, it minimizes the use of resources such as water and firefighting chemicals. The foam's effectiveness in fire prevention and control supports the efforts of environmental entities to promote sustainable land management practices. It enables a more balanced approach to fire management. Come on, guys. Reducing the reliance on harmful fire suppression techniques. Collaboration and awareness. Under that category, we got the environmental entities, including the EPA and nonprofit organizations, can play a crucial role in spreading awareness about this solution. So get on your phones and get talking about us. We need that 5 mil. October's coming pretty fast. So they can educate the public, businesses, and other stakeholders about the benefits of using our innovative fire resistant foam. By collaborating with environmental entities, the brand and communities gain visibility and support, leading to wider adoption and implementation of this environmentally friendly solution. Group 4 is going to be the homeowners and insurance entities. That's people like you. So, effective fire prevention and control, the homeowner needs a solution that provides homeowners and insurance entities with an effective method for fire prevention and control. The properties of our fire resistant foam significantly reduce the spread and intensity of wildfires, helping to protect the homes and communities from devastating damage. And by using the right product, homeowners can have peace of mind knowing that their properties are better protected against the threat of wildfires, and insurance companies can also benefit from reduced claims and losses due to minimized fire damage. See, we thought of you. Minimizing property damage and claims. So to be a holistic solution, the product must have the ability to reduce the destruction caused by wildfires directly to address the concerns of homeowners and insurance entities. By minimizing property damage, it helps homeowners avoid costly repairs and insurance claims. Insurance companies can benefit from the use of such a product as it helps reduce the frequency and severity of claims related to wildfire damage. This can lead to more stable insurance premiums and improved profitability. Thirdly, ease of use and property value increase. The right product is an easy to use solution for homeowners and insurance entities. Its application is straightforward, making it accessible for homeowners and ensuring efficient deployment by insurance adjusters during wildfire events. The use of the product can also contribute to increasing property values. By protecting homes and communities from wildfires, it enhances the desirability and marketability of properties in wildfire-prone areas. Come on, realtors, holler that, right? Group 5 is your construction and real estate entities. Let's talk about it. Kind of similar stance there with the increased property values. By incorporating such protection into construction projects, construction companies can enhance the value of their properties. The fire-resistant foam's ability to protect homes and communities from wildfires makes properties more attractive to buyers and leading to increased property values. Real estate developers and agents can leverage the use of such a product as a selling point, highlighting the added protection it provides against wildfires. This can make properties more desirable and potentially increase their market value, right? Get some. Environmental consciousness. Construction and real estate entities are increasingly focused on sustainability and environmental consciousness. Our solution aligns with these concerns as an environmentally friendly method for fire prevention and control. By utilizing our product, construction companies and real estate developers / agents can position themselves as environmentally conscious entities. This, as mentioned earlier, can attract buyers who prioritize sustainability and contribute to their reputation as responsible and forward-thinking organizations. Mitigating fire-related risks. Wildfires pose a significant risk to properties in wildfire-prone areas. But then again, don't get that confused, because you may have just found out that you live in a wildfire-prone area too and didn't know it. Construction and real estate entities face the challenge of minimizing fire-related risks to protect their investments. Our option addresses this challenge by reducing the spread and intensity of wildfires. By incorporating this fire-resistant foam into construction projects, these entities can enhance the fire safety measures of their properties and provide added peace of mind to buyers. And we got the utility company. So that's going to be, we talked about it a little bit we said the power lines. Well, let's go into it because it's the electric utilities, the water utilities, and the gas. Protection of critical infrastructure. Number one, utilities are responsible for maintaining and protecting critical infrastructure, such as power lines, water treatment facilities, and gas pipes, from devastating impacts of wildfires. Such a safeguard is needed that offers an effective solution for mitigating the risk of wildfire damage to infrastructure. For example, a fire-resistant foam can create a protective barrier, reducing the spread and intensity of wildfires and minimizing the potential damage to utility infrastructure. They want safety and reliability, kind of like you. Utilities prioritize the safety and reliability of their services. Wildfires can disrupt power supply, water distribution, and gas services, leading to significant inconvenience and potential hazards for the community, like yours. By incorporating a shield of protection into their wildfire prevention and response strategies, utilities can enhance the safety and reliability of their services. The use of a fire-resistant foam can help prevent or minimize the impact of wildfires on utility infrastructures, ensuring uninterrupted service for your customers. Cost effectiveness. Wildfires can result in substantial financial losses for utilities, including the cost of repairing or replacing damaged infrastructure, as well as the expense associated with service disruptions and customer complaints or claims. Our critical solution offers a cost-effective approach to reducing the risk of wildfire damage by investing in proactive measures like using a fire-resistant foam. Utilities can potentially save significant costs in terms of infrastructure repairs, service restoration, and liability claims. But I know we talked about all that, but we can't forget about us. We the people. So this product becomes a lifeline for individuals living in areas prone to wildfires, providing a sense of safety, security, and peace of mind. These individuals face unique challenges and concerns that can be addressed by the features and capabilities of our product. Protection of lives and property, right? Like, you don't want to be there trying to do things at the last minute when the fire's coming in and get trapped. So residents in wildfire prone areas face the constant threat of losing their homes, possessions, and even their lives to devastating wildfires. Our vision offers a powerful solution for mitigating these risks. Its fire-resistant foam creates a protective barrier, reducing the intensity and spread of wildfires and increasing the chances of survival for individuals and their property. If you can get out of there sooner, you have a better chance of surviving. Safety and well-being. Wildfires pose significant safety hazards and can have long-lasting effects on the well-being of individuals living in affected areas. By incorporating our solution into wildfire prevention and response strategies, communities can enhance their safety and well-being. The use of our product can help prevent or minimize the impact of wildfires, reducing the risk of injuries, trauma, and loss of life. Mental health and emotional resilience. The experience of living in a wildfire-prone area can take a toll on the mental health. The same way when you live in an area where it's gunshots all the time, you know what I mean? It takes a toll on your mental health and emotional well-being of individuals. The constant fear and anxiety of stress associated with the threat of wildfires can lead to depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and decreased productivity, which we talked about. Our product can provide a sense of security and peace of mind, helping individuals cope with the psychological impact of living in the wildfire-prone areas. By reducing the risk of wildfires and the subsequent destruction, our solution can contribute to improved mental health and emotional well-being. Community cohesion and recovery. So wildfires can have devastating impact on communities, causing displacement, loss of livelihoods, and a sense of disconnection among residents. Our product can promote community cohesion and aid in the recovery process. By protecting lives and property, it helps maintain the fabric of the communities and facilitates a faster and more efficient recovery after the wildfires. Okay. Our research methodology in this white paper for FireFort Eco, fire resistant foam, we have employed a combination of research methodologies to gather information and support the claims and benefits of the product. These methodologies include literature review, case studies and success stories, technical specifications and testing results, interviews and expert opinions. So, here's a breakdown of like what that all means. You can scan out at your leisure, pause the video if you want to read through it all. And our findings and analysis for FireFort Eco, which you probably heard much about, the opportunities, was effectiveness in fire-resistant foams. So the FireFort Eco and other fire-resistant foams like it, there's not really much like it, but other fire-resistant foams have demonstrated significant effectiveness in preventing and controlling wildfires. These products have unique fire-resistant properties and can create a protective barrier against wildfires. They have been proven in various test and real-world scenarios to substantially reduce the spread and intensity of wildfires. However, FireFort Eco is one of the rare ones that are 100% biodegradable. Huge advantage. Benefits for different stakeholder groups. Fire-resistant foams offer a wide range of benefits for various stakeholder groups. The government officials and agencies, they provide a low-cost and efficient solution for wildfire management. Firefighting and land management entities benefit from the reduced risk and intensity of wildfires, leading to safer working conditions and less resource expenditure. Environmental entities appreciate the eco-friendly nature of these products we got, while homeowners, insurance entities, construction and real estate entities, and utilities gain from the enhanced protection of infrastructure and properties. Impact on mental health and productivity. We want that. Wildfires can have profound impact on mental health, leading to conditions such as depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. The risk and aftermath of wildfires can also affect productivity due to displacement, loss, and trauma. And by significantly reducing the risk of wildfires, fire-resistant foams can help mitigate these impacts, providing peace of mind and stability for those living in wildfire-prone areas. Case studies and success stories. Several case studies and success stories highlight the successful implementation of fire-resistant foams. These instances showcase how these products have protected properties and infrastructure from wildfire damage, increased property values, and attracted environmentally conscious buyers. Furthermore, there has been a notable reduction in insurance claims and losses associated with properties using these products. Technical specifications and certs. Fire-resistant foams meet high technical specifications and have received certifications attesting to their fire-resistant properties and performance. For instance, FireFort Eco can protect structures from blazes up to 3,000 degrees and can last up to 7 days. These credentials underscore the safety and cost effectiveness of these products in protecting critical infrastructure from wildfires. Here's a little one of the tests that was done in the past, and that's Oliver, who helped lead the testing, is a red card certified wildland firefighter, and in 2001 fought California's Caldor fire, which burned 221,835 acres across northern Sierra Nevada. A quote from him, a couple of these quotes said, "I saw 800 homes burned down because what the current wildland fire organizations use is a Class A foam, which doesn't last very long," said Oliver. He said current foams help in the short term and minutes before the fire front engulfs structures. So if you only got minutes, that means you got to be there while the fire is coming. See what I'm saying? Like ours is like some of y'all here, you set it and forget it, right? You know what I'm saying? You 7 days it lasts, right? So however, new foam, the FireFort Eco, can protect structures up to 7 days, he said. "I've had a lot of experience in wildland fire," said Oliver. "I see it. I see the struggles with it, and manpower is always going to be your biggest issue in wildland fires." And this is all quoted from the Aspen Times newspaper. Picture source from there as well. FireFort Eco. I'm Pasha Paroh. Thank you for your time.